I was just presented this today. I don't know where they got it, but woolly worm shoes in a woolly worm color. And then real proud of this bobblehead. And one of my favorite saying is that God don't make no junk, that all of us are special in God's sight. And this is my woolly worm outfit and my crazy woolly worm hat. You can see the two there together. But the bobblehead is kind of neat because my son, and of course my wife does too, she claims that I bobble my head. And I don't think I do. And then the towel that we use for the Woolly Worm Road Race, all W's, which we have each year. Kiwanis Magazine did one of the biggest spreads they'd ever done on an activity. You can see there on the front cover, there's a girl with a woolly worm. Here's woolly worms all over. And then they featured us in here, and I think it's a 4-page article, which is very unusual to have that much space. Shows one of our former kings and queens. Anne Swincola is queen. Tommy Burleson is king. Our great original weather forecaster, Charlie Von Cannon. Our woolly worm money goes to support many activities in the schools. We've had a woolly worm ball several different years. That's been fun. We do a woolly worm stomp. We name a king and queen. The North Carolina Forestry Service put out an actual thing to do with the woolly worm, Isabella, and what happens to them. And then they produced how do you take care of it if you wanted to keep and see it turn into a moth. Okay. Back in 1977, Jim Morton and some friends, and I've got an old picture of him somewhere here, came up with the idea of racing worms, and we've built it up since then.
Jim Morton of Grandfather Mountain?
Jim Morton, yeah. This is Jim Swincola here way back. You can see he was thin back there, and he's working on getting thin again. This is before I wore the special pants that I wore now. This is Dr. Phyllis Crane, who just passed away, the former director. When she first found out she had cancer, I went over and she seemed real thrilled with everything. We do a lot of stuff. We do parades, as you can tell. This is actually when we were in New York City, my daughter and I, Kim. And WECR, the local radio station, actually started their first broadcast right here at the Woolly Worm Fest. Interesting that Lowe's grocery store and Food Line grocery store make cakes and cupcakes to commemorate the Woolly Worm Festival, and they're big sellers. That whole thing right there is a cake, and I use that for some publicity and give it to the different TV stations. And now we've gone all the way to having, we started with about 8 lanes, went to about 15. Now we have 25 lanes, and you can see come a long way with it.
Yeah, because this year you expect 20,000 people maybe?
Yes, sir. Certainly hope so.